Hello and welcome, folks. We are here and we are live. The Panthers Picks podcast is starting right now, and you're
in the jungle now, baby.
I am your host, FBI Tugboat. And this is the gambling portion, the Panthers Picks podcast. If you are underage, if you're planning on gambling intoxicated, or if you live in a state where sports gambling is illegal, then you can... That's still too loud, son of a gun. Anyway, without further ado, let's hop into it and talk about...
The numbers, basically. What do they mean?
What do they mean? How do you make money gambling on the UFL? No guarantees, obviously. Do not, wager more than you're comfortable losing. Blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about it. Last week, went 2-1 on the locks that I gave out. I gave out San Antonio and Arlington over 37.5 or 38.5. Hit at 42, as we can see right here. So that hit, gave out the lock of the week, Michigan at -3. It went up to -3.5 once I doubled up on my bet. It went all the way up to 6.5, still cashed for you. 26-12 right here. This could have easily been to 20-12, still would have cashed. The third lock that I gave out was the Birmingham Stallions here, -7. Oh, hang on. Where's it at? They got pretty well handled. Honestly, pretty well handled. I got to call it like I see it. Pretty well handled by the DC defenders right there. Today is March 31st. This is Monday. They have released numbers. This will probably be released either tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Not 100% sure. Expect these numbers to change, though. If they change, then don't, then kind of work that into whatever locks I give out, right? I'm going to try and give out 3 or 4, and in case this is the first time watching, whenever I say lean, that means, a gun to the head. If I had to pick one of them, that's what I would go with. But do not take that as, sell the house, put your money on this. Do not take it as a lock whatsoever. We will not be tracking leans like some people on your various social medias. With that said, let's go ahead and hop into it. This is, you know what? Those odds are from Station Casino here in Las Vegas. Probably not what everybody else is going to be accessible to, and not majorly different either. Yeah, 1.5. 8, 8.5, 9, 8.5. Yeah, pretty much the same. So we'll use these. Sorry about that, folks. Since I know that DraftKings is more nationally available, let's hop on into it. First and foremost, we'll just go all the way through. Friday, again, absolutely love that these are being done on Fridays. So we have a football on Friday, we have some on Saturday, and then we have a game on Friday night. Right, starting at 5 every single Friday of the season so far. This being the second out of 10, and then we either will double up. Either double up on Saturday or on Sunday. Week 1 was double up on Sunday. We're going to be looking at that one again with a 9 a.m. kickoff on the West Coast. I do not understand that. I got to say. 10 a.m. Yeah, whatever. The Tug don't wake up early, folks. Let's just believe it like that. I will still hopefully be watching that game, especially given that, that's going to be one of my locks. I'll let you guess which one it's going to go. Let's go chronologically here. Birmingham Stallions visiting the Michigan Panthers. Now, as you can see, there's 18 to 11, so a 7-point win for the DC Defenders. Well, the DC Defenders do not look like they have lost a stride, even losing a head coach, and with the announcement that half their coaching staff is going on over to Tennessee State after the season. They are out here, absolutely out here. That head coach told Skip, right? Now, obviously, this is a little bit dramatized up or whatever else, like the whole, you said I was a doorman. You said I was a doorman to Skip Holtz after the W right here. But anyway, folks, it is a simple fact. Well, 2 things. First, yes, the Panthers Picks podcast. Second, money don't know no country, honey. We are putting money down based on where we think it is going to hit. Period. End of story. We're not letting our personal wants and desires, our love for the Michigan Panthers or any other team go forth and affect our judgment when it comes to placing picks. For that reason, folks, I would go ahead and, first lock right here, right on that -1.5. Yes, we saw that even gods can bleed, and the Birmingham Stallions losing it. Yes, it'd be beautiful if this was the downfall of the Stallions after the three-peat, right? Do I think that's what's going to happen? I do not think that, and I don't think that you could really say that after watching one single game, especially given the DC. But, their offense looked good. Their defense is what won the game for them, but their offense looked good, and in ways better than we did last week, especially against a team like the Memphis Showboats. Now, granted, we only have 1 week of information here, but especially given that Alex Magoo did not play his best right there, and they have Matt Corral. Oh, and they have a guy named Case Cookus. I would not be surprised if they play multiple quarterbacks and we let the hot hand ride. I really like this -1.5. I really like this 38.5. Given that like our defense was decent, right? Still gave up 12 points to the Memphis Showboats. Like I just feel like if you hold a lot of things constant here, just straight up more points are scored, right? Their defense didn't do amazingly against us, or sorry, the Memphis's defense didn't do amazingly against us. Neither did the Birmingham Stallions. I would rate the DC offense of what we saw there a little bit higher than Michigan Panthers. Also, we don't know if Danny Edling is going to be playing this upcoming week. He took a big hit last week, and conceivably, this is a game that like Mike Nolan, the head coach of the Michigan Panthers, would really, really want us to win. So you'd ride the hot hand, aka Bryce freaking Perkins. There's nothing. I don't feel like there's something that we saw last season that puts Danny Etling over Bryce Perkins. There is nothing that we saw yesterday outside of one little scamper, of which Bryce Perkins did even better. That would lead us to that would lead me to play Danny Etling. Definitely not start Danny Etling over Bryce Perkins. I like two different bets here. The -1.5. I could actually see this being a 1-point game, but I don't feel confident enough taking Michigan Panthers. My lock for this is going to be the 38.5. 38.5 right there. Moving on. So lean -1.5 for the Birmingham Stallions. Lock is going to one of the three locks of the day is going to be over 38.5 right there. Expect these lines to change. Moving on along here to Saturday afternoon, we got a 5 p.m. game followed up by a 5 p.m. game. Absolutely love that. Memphis Showboats, after losing to us by 14, which Gary could have easily been by 6, by 8, excuse me, was taken on the DC Defenders that had probably the best and the single-handed best look yesterday. Well, the Memphis Showboats showed us a little something on defense, right? They also showed split quarterbacks with Troy Williams and DJ Perry, and Troy Williams looked decent when he wasn't under pressure. Well, I'm not really 100% sure if you can expect him not to be under pressure here. Also, DC, I'm not going to say they just struck gold here and the phrase "the blind squirrel finds a nut every once twice a day," or the blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Broken clock works twice a day, whatever the hell else, right? I'm not going to full on use that, but I am curious. I'm really curious if DC can kind of figure it out twice right here, right? Completely revamped system over there in Memphis. The head coach looked, it looked real solid. This is actually a matchup of two brand new head coaches, right? Obviously, there's Greg Williams, the DC Defenders, a defensive coordinator right there that is absolutely crazy. But I'll be honest with you, I don't feel like, I just feel like this is a 6-point game. I can't take that. And I'm definitely not going to trust Memphis, especially after we saw last week when they're down by 6. They try and come up. A little bit of pressure comes, bam, they give it up for a pick 6. Like I could see this being a last-minute cover for DC. I could see DC getting ahead like a little bit, and then Memphis just working it back until this is like a 4-point game. I do not like this enough for the money line by any means at +310. I feel like they're kind of telling you what they think based on money line plays here. +8, which is a single touchdown easily, and obviously 9 points possible within the United Football League. But then only 310 right there. Okay. As far as totals, this is the lowest on here, and I'm actually not 100% sure why. I like this. If I had to take either of these, I'd be taking the total, but there's no locks here. Guys. Sorry. This is going to be a really good game. I am really trying to. Well, I'm taking shots this year, and I'm really trying to keep that winning percentage up. So I'm being pretty sparse with my locks here. Okay. Watch this game. Take it all in. If you see something live, absolutely go for it. Wherever else like that. I personally am not locking anything else up there. Okay. We got 2-1 record as of right now. Let's improve upon that. Moving on along to Sunday. Houston Roughnecks taking on the Arlington Renegades. Houston Roughnecks got absolutely blanked by a team that has a worse offense and probably a worse defense. The St. Louis Battlehawks right here. Both of these lines are just absolutely madhouse. My other mega lock of this week is -8.5. Again, this episode will probably be released on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I would recommend taking this ASAP. Whereas this one's probably going to move, and I could see it. This total is probably going to move. I'm not sure about the spread. I could definitely see people piling on a Birmingham, so maybe a reason to take that as well. I could definitely see people piling onto Arlington. I would take this soon. Ride the hot hand, ride Luis Perez, ride Bob Stoops' revamped squad that lost off the back of, honestly, some horrible luck last year. Like, I watched a lot of sports in my time. This luck last year was just it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. They lost to us, but with a 58-yard field goal. They lost to the Brahmas last second. This team invented new ways to lose last year, and a lot of that was off the back of an offense that was like really hit or miss, and then well, an offense and a defense actually they're like really hit and miss, especially once the defense kept them in the game and the offense got a little bit ahead. Then it feel like the pressure was on the defense and they just collapsed towards the end of it. Again, a lot of this was just attributed to bad luck. Regardless, folks. I don't think this is a lightning strike situation for Arlington. I think this is a serious contender for this. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, those are just odd even. Sorry. I think this is a solid contender for what we saw. 450. Good God. So Birmingham's way worse. St. Louis gets somehow better from being the worst team in spring football that has existed in 40 years. DC gets way better. Our DC gets a little bit better. They went from like 650 to 450. Arlington went from 11 to 1 to here. San Antonio just dropping like a rock, right? They were plus 550, I think. Now to plus 1700. That's insane. We'll talk a little bit about futures. There's not a whole lot. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. As far as this, also. So lock here total over 38.5. Lock here minus 8.5 as well. My third lock is actually going to be this under. Houston didn't show me shit when it came to, again, the St. Louis Battlehawks does not have as good of a defense that the Arlington Renegades showed us, and this is an even higher total than it was before. The only like problem here is if Houston does manage to get 2 scores, like 9 points, 10 points, 12 points, if they go for 3 and then a field goal or whatever else like that, this is seriously in jeopardy because Arlington just put up 33 points, right? The highest of last week, and that was against the San Antonio Brahmas that has a better defense, that has a better team period than the Houston Roughnecks. That's my only concern right there. But yes, so just recapping, lock number 1 over 38.5, Birmingham Stallions, Michigan Panthers. Lock number 2, 8.5. It's a big number, the biggest number on here actually for the Arlington Renegades. I'm sold. I've seen what I need to see. Sal Cannella popped off 2 days ago, even without that massive run for like 77 yards or whatever else like that. They still get like 350 yards total, which is far and away, or not far and away, which is the most total yardage like period. Their offensive rushing looks good. Their offensive defense looks good. Their offensive passing looks good. The receiving game looks good. Luis Perez has not really skipped a beat right there. This team has only gotten better. Again, the only thing I would really say here. The only reason I would avoid that under, this is going to be a double-digit game. Like I feel of these 3, I feel best about this one. Yeah, so like heavy lean this minus 1.5, but taking the over 38.5. Excuse me, heavy lean. What am I talking about? Nix all that from the record. Locking over 38.5, locking minus 8.5, locking under 39 right here. The only way I see this being an issue is if Birmingham Stallions defense stands up and they just shellac us, which I don't see happening. I think there's going to be a close game, or if Houston, by hook or by crook, somehow finds 12 points or 10 points or something like that. I do not believe in CJ. I do not. Moving on along here to the biggest spread, or the second biggest spread, third biggest spread. Good God, I can't read. On here, and what is probably another over that I feel pretty darn good about. St. Louis does not have a fantastic defense. They just happen to play the absolute worst squad out here. The San Antonio Brahmas doesn't have a terrible defense. They just play a really damn good Arlington Renegades offense. Kellen Mond was honestly the problem right here. I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of a little bit of shifting of duties in future weeks if this continues to not go well for here. I feel pretty darn good about +7. Pretty darn good. Like so darn good that this is like close to a 4th lock. As far as totals, I just don't want to take the over 39.5 and then have both of these teams' defenses show up and this be like an 18-12 game or something like that with like 2 touchdowns scored between both teams or something like that, right? 18-11, something like that, right? 8 point touchdown total and then a 3-point field goal. Yeah, so again, folks, it is 3:31. I am actually I gotta head out here soon. I'll be back like Friday or so. If this gets released and there's anything massive that I see, hey, maybe if there's a change of head coach position, right? then I'll definitely come back and revisit these and put them in the comments before Friday. So if you are planning on taking any of these games and you're really, really looking for my advice or whatever else like that, first of all, which I would not recommend. Second of all, just be sure to check the comments because I'll be gone and I'll be out, but I'll still be able to put the comments on here and be like, yes, continuing to lock these. I might actually put in a comment like, Friday like 3 o'clock or so like that. Just what my picks are, so that anybody who doesn't get the opportunity to go forth and look at it can do that. I'll obviously always recap at the end here of the episode. So just as a recap, I do like that -1.5 for the Birmingham Stallions. If you like it as well, that is probably going to get a taller number. That's probably going to go to 2.5 or even 3, maybe even higher than that. But my lock for I don't have an account. Go away. My lock would be over 38.5. Moving on over here to Sunday, lock -8.5 here for Harlington Renegades. Personally, I've already bet this. Also lock under 39. If you're going to take anything in this last game right here, I definitely feel good about that San Antonio Brahmas +7. This has been Panthers Picks Podcast.
What do they mean?
You should follow me, FBI_Tugboat, pretty much everywhere. You should also follow all the beautiful folks over there at the UFM that is defending football. That is going to be the Huddle. That is going to be, obviously, this show, Panthers Podcast. That is going to be Defenders Show, defending football, as well as the Captain's Log. Obviously, the Roughnecks Rundown, as well as for our fearless leader, Ace, and the San Antonio Brahmas. Josh over the San Antonio Brahmas is also doing content with the Arena Football. So how cool is that? Appreciate you guys for watching. I will catch you on the flip side.